Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, the other day I did a video looking at every Premier League club's player whose transfer value has skyrocketed in 2020. Let's do the opposite. Let's take a look at every club's player whose transfer value has completely dropped off the face of the earth since 2019. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Willian, 35 million to 3 ham sandwiches and a half-eaten petit faloo. Lads, believe it or not, in June 2019, just 18 months ago, Chelsea were actually rejecting £35 million bids for Willian for both Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. This has to be one of the most brain-dead pieces of financial advice I've ever seen. Putting down that sort of cash for a guy you chuck out the back door for free the following year? Just mental. You essentially chucked a cheque for £35 million down the toilet. So presumably they must have valued him at least 40 million quid, right? At least. Absolute nonsense. Nowadays he's stinking up the Emirates on a weekly basis, looking like a fat waste of wages, and honestly, so bad are his performances, he would probably be worth about 3 ham sandwiches and a half-eaten petit faloo. Aston Villa, WESLEY MORAES, 22 million to 10 million. Yeah, pretty simple here. WESLEY MORAES was a £22 million signing for Aston Villa in 2019 and was seen as a promising Brazilian centre forward. Fast forward 18 months and he's an injured lump of fudge soaking up wages in the treatment room. And the form of Ollie Watkins means that this guy is old news. In the same way Wamana Samatta was quickly chucked in the bin, I'm pretty sure Villa would probably accept a cut price fee for a guy who must be on big fat wages. Burnley, Matt Ryan, 20 million to 5 million. Yeah, pretty simple here. It was only 5 minutes ago Matt Ryan was one of Brighton's most important players, a great Australian #1 goalkeeper, and even being linked with a move to Man United. But now, he's dropped to the bench, replaced by Robert Sanchez, and Graham Potter is willing to let him leave. Come on Ryan, what happened? Burnley, Chris Wood, 25 million to 12 million. Chris Wood is not having a good season. Back in 2019, the man was banging in at least 15 goals a season. He was a club record £15 million signing for Burnley in 2017, and so a year ago was probably worth at least £25 million. Now though, he turns 30 this year, he's off form, Sean Dyche is probably already looking at replacing him, and so yeah, he's probably only worth about 12 million quid. Give it another year, and this guy's just going to be championship standard anyway. Chelsea, KEPA ARRIZABALAGA, 90 million to 20 million. Yeah, you're not going to see a much bigger drop off in transfer value than this. Listen lads, at the start of 2019, KEPA was in great form, and considering his monster £75 million transfer from Athletic Bilbao, then yeah, I'm pretty sure the Blues wouldn't have sold him for anything less than a £15 million profit. Then the shaky performances came in, and the spoiled brat behaviour in the cup final, then the many howlers, and Frank Lampard clearly rating him on par with a broken fridge. So now that he's permanently stuck to the bench, there's no way Chelsea would turn down a £20 million bid. Yes, it's more than a 50 million quid loss, and to most companies that would result in liquidation and have the staff to relocate to live under a bridge and live off a diet of Rice Krispie squares and puddles of dirt. But to Chelsea, yeah, it would be like punching Roman Abramovich's wallet in the face. But what's the alternative? Let Kepa rot on the bench for the duration of his contract? Crystal Palace, WILFRIED ZAHA, 80 million to 30 million. Okay, it's actually quite ironic that WILFRIED ZAHA saw his transfer value fall off a cliff last summer, because he's probably currently playing the best football of his career right now. But back in 2019, when Arsenal were priced out of a move, instead forced to spend £75 million on an overhyped bag of rubbish from France, Crystal Palace were actually demanding £80 million for WILFRIED ZAHA. And why not? This was the same summer that Leicester City were able to command that sort of fee for a human suitcase. ZAHA probably spent every waking hour beating his head against an oven for even daring to sign that 5-year deal. But now though, Palace are 2.5 years away from losing him for the price of a toilet seat, and apparently the club would now sell him for as low as 30 million quid. Everton, Alex Iwobi, 34 million to 15 million. Okay, I'm pretty sure the accountants at Arsenal Football Club are probably grateful for the existence of Everton, considering they managed to shake down their gullible counterparts of over 15 million quid. Iwobi was somehow worth £34 million in 2019. Don't ask me how, but now I'm pretty sure after just 1 goal in nearly 40 games for the Toffees, they've probably cut their losses by flogging him to a Turkish club for about £15 million. Fulham, Tim Ream, 6 million to the price of 3 Frodo bars. Tim Ream has been a good servant for Fulham, but he's a 33-year-old American centre half who's just lost his place, clearly not needed anymore at Craven Cottage. Oh yeah, and his contract is up in June. I actually think as a favour to him, Fulham would probably just agree to let him leave for free. Leeds, Kiko Casilla, 20 million to 5 million. Listen, Kiko Casilla's arrival at Leeds United from Real Madrid in January 2019 was exciting. This guy was a Spanish international goalkeeper with a history of playing for the biggest club on earth, and so Leeds probably slapped a £20 million price tag on his back. Not now though. Now that he's warming the bench for a 20-year-old child, Casilla is old enough to be his dad. And don't say he's not. Wesley from Aston Villa was having kids at 14, so why not? Anyway, yeah, unwanted at Leeds, they'd probably toss him out for 5 million quid. Leicester, DEMARAI Gray, 30 million to 1 million. Remember when the world kept hyping up DEMARAI Gray? I remember the days when Leicester were knocking back £20 million bids from Bournemouth. In 2019, sure, his end product was on par with a melted tub at Ben & Jerry's, but still, for some reason, this young winger was swimming in hype. But now, he turns 25 this year, Brendan Rodgers clearly doesn't rate him, he's been mostly training with the kids this season, and given just 18 minutes at Sellers Park, and that is it. Factor in the fact that his deal is up in June, and that Marseille apparently wants him on a free transfer. Christ, Leicester will probably sell him for a handful of coins. Liverpool, GEORGINIO, WIJNALDUM, 45 million to 15 15 million. Okay, let's be honest, Georginio WIJNALDUM always seems to get linked with the move away from Anfield every single year he's at the club. But in 2019, when he etched himself into Anfield folklore with 2 goals in that turnaround Champions League semi-final win over Barcelona, yeah, he probably earned himself a fat £45 million transfer fee. But now though, his contract expires in June, Barcelona are hovering around like hungry vultures, and so yeah, he'd probably be worth a cut price £15 million, which is ironically what Newcastle paid for him 5 years ago. Man City, Bernardo Silva, 80 million to 20 million. I don't know what's happened to Bernardo Silva's form, because right now the Portuguese winger is another shadow of the guy who scored 13 goals and chipped in with 14 assists during the title-winning 18-19 season. Back then, when he was scoring a title-defining goal at Old Trafford, breaking the deadlock in one of the most important games in the history of the club, back when he was popping up with 2 assists in the FA Cup final and signing a fat new 6-year deal, oh, you're damn right City wouldn't have let him go for anything less than 80 million beans. By now, we're currently in January and he's still waiting to register his first goal or assist of the season in 16 games of football. How? Just how? He's shown less end product than that of a paralysed fish. I'm not sure whether he spent lockdown stuffing Big Macs down his throat and drowning his kidneys in 10-year-old whiskey, but he's been utterly brutal this season. And you're damn right City would probably sell him for about 20 million quid. Man United, Jesse Lingard, 50 million to 8 million. Go back to the start of 2019 and Jesse Lingard was coming off the best year of his career, scoring from 25 yards out of the World Cup. He scored 13 goals in one season, trademarked his own celebration, found himself linked with Barcelona, and so yeah, in January 2019, he just scored 4 goals in a month, including 2 with Cardiff in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge. Right then, in that transfer window, United would have probably demanded a £50 million fee. I mean, don't forget, at that time, he was one of the most marketable English faces in the league, and he probably sold even more merch than I'm Alex. I know, it's just nonsense for a guy with the footballing ability of a mouldy slice of toast, but that is British hype. Now though, he's the forgotten boy of Old Trafford, has about as much chance of another English cap as I do of being hugged by my dad. Yes, he's just signed a 1-year extension, clearly because someone at the club just took pity on the lad, but make no mistake about it, if any club offered anything close to 10 million quid, the guy would be told to clear out his locker. Newcastle, Sean Longstaff, 50 million to 10 million. Don't worry, no part of my human fibre ever thought Sean Longstaff was worth anything close to 50 million pounds, but yes, apparently that's what Newcastle were holding out for when Man United sniffed around his face in the summer of 2019. But yeah, Mike Ashley might as well have covered Longstaff head to toe in 3 litres of pig slurry and chopped off one of his ankles, because this was always going to scare off any potential suitor. The guy had only played 8 goddamn games, 50 million pounds. It's like chucking 20 quid at an already open Kit Kat. Now, 18 months later, Longstaff is 23, being utterly cat sick for most of the season, just looking like another waste of space in midfield, and now he can't even get past his ginger brother into Steve Bruce's first team. Christ, how embarrassing is that? It's like if Deji overtook KSI in subs. Now everyone's woken up and realised that he's just another forgettable bang average mid-table midfielder who's about 47th in England pecking order, a fella not even half as good as John McGinn. Lads, he'd probably be sold for 10 million quid. Sheffield United, Ryan Brewster, 30 million to 15 million. Okay, I know Liverpool let Ryan Brewster go for 20 million in 2020, but in 2019, he was a year younger, the hype was a bit higher. Yeah, let's say he'd have cost 30 million quid. Now though, he's absolutely flopping at Bramall Lane, stuck in a team on 2 points at the bottom of the league, and without a single Premier League goal to his name. Yeah, he won the underage World Cup, but lads, if he's not careful, he'll wind up another Dominic Solanke. If Sheffield United were to sell him now, they wouldn't even get anything more than 15 million. Southampton, Angus Gunn, 20 million to half a packet of Monster Munch. It's fitting that Angus Gunn has replaced Jack Butland on loan to Stoke this season. They're both 2 promising potential England goalkeepers who have just been forgotten about. Let's not forget, in 2018, Gunn was penning a 5-year deal at Southampton, arriving for 13.5 million from Man City, a club where he was trying to catch the eye of Pep Guardiola and was often named on the bench. And in the first half of 2019, it was great. He broke into Southampton's team, was playing well, had half the media repeatedly tipped him to get an England call-up, and then that all seemed to disappear after 1 game in October. Conceding 9 in 1 match done to Leicester, you can almost pinpoint the moment his career snapped in half. He was never picked again, ever. The only member of that wretched team to never be given a second chance at scraping his career out of the gutter. No chance of redemption, and now he's been banished on loan to the Championship. Christ, Southampton would probably be happy to give him away. Tottenham, Dele Alli, 100 million to 30 million. It's ridiculous how much Dele Alli's transfer value has dropped. In 2019, he was one of the first names on the team sheet for club and country, a favourite under reach of Pochettino, and here he was reaching a Champions League final, and with Daniel Levy, a notoriously stringent negotiator, oh, then England's golden boy wouldn't have gone for anything less than 100 million pounds. Now though, he barely gets a sniff under Jose Mourinho. Yes, he has a contract until 2024, but I don't care. He is getting less minutes than Harry Winks at the moment. If Spurs get an offer of 30 million, they are taking it. West Brom, Kyle Bartley, 18 million to 5 million. Yeah, back in 2019, Kyle Bartley was an important player for West Brom, and ever present in their defence, one of the best defenders in the Championship, and considering the utter lunacy shown towards British hype, yeah, the baggies could have probably shook potential suitors down for 18 million pounds. Not now though, he hasn't made the squad for the last 5 match days. Sam Allardyce clearly doesn't fancy him. Oh yeah, and his contract is up in June, 5 million pounds at most. West Ham, Issa Diop, 75 million to 15 million. Yeah, remember when West Ham saw Manchester United about to break the bank for a defender with a head shaped like a television? Clearly they wanted to take advantage of Ed Woodward clearly breaking his brain by demanding they pay 75 million pounds for Issa Diop. Just ridiculous. Anyway, nowadays Diop can't even make it into David Moyes' team, given just 3 starts this season, £75 million. Nah, 15 million now. Wolves John Ruddy, £2 million to £100,000. Okay, let's be honest, John Ruddy was never worth that much at Wolves anyway, but his contract is up in the summer, so right now, yeah, they'd probably happily sell him for £100,000. Anyway, that's the end of it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.